everybody, and welcome to CBC Live at TIFF. We are so excited to be here at the Intercontinental Hotel in the heart of the Toronto International Film Festival. I'm Jamie Ordolis from CBC Live. This is Eli Glasner.
Hello.
Eli Glasner is a cinephile, CBC arts film critic, arts reporter. I watched his raw footage of his Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Rian Johnson interview yesterday, and let me tell you, if you could have spent hours with them, you would have, right?
Oh, 5 minutes with the two of those guys, it just wasn't fair. And Rian Johnson is just such an accomplished filmmaker, just in the three movies he's done, and you can tell, and it was interesting listening to them talk, the connection that Joseph Gordon-Levitt has made to Rian, not actor-director, but filmmaker to filmmaker. And I think we'll see later to that in the interview that I did yesterday.
Yes, we've got your footage, and we've got a lot more cool celebrity interviews. Your team has been very busy, so can you tell us a bit about last night's red carpets? First of all, Looper was the big film premiere.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the carpet with Rian Johnson. But I mean, I think the reason that they brought Looper to Toronto was to get the star power and Bruce, right? You had Bruce Willis walking the red carpet, and that is an event. And the interesting thing about Looper is that it was such an event. There is Bruce there, and you can see him, you know, kind of an informal. The thing is, it's Bruce Willis, right? So he could show up in a T-shirt and jeans. It would be okay. You've got Joseph
so relaxed.
So relaxed. Joseph Gordon-Levitt had his little rec button from his production company.
This was the talk of the night. Kristen Stewart. I think that this, gossip-wise, outshone.
Oh no, this was
the opening film.
The carpet, everybody, because of course this is the first time we've seen her really in front of the media since the unfortunate incident.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of attention to see her. And you almost feel bad because Kristen Dunst is also in the movie, and she was kind of outshined just by Kristen Stewart showing up because everybody wanted to see what she was doing, what she would say, and of course what she was wearing. I hear they both looked lovely though.
Yeah, and she was one of the best tonight. We'll get to that in just a second. And the last one was Rust and Bone.
Marion Cotillard, an amazing film that takes you on places you don't even know where it's going, and she brings a different kind of European glamour to TIFF. So, I mean, she's a friend of the city now. She's been here many times, but great to see her back in Toronto.
Bruce was saying the same thing. And we got to hear her speak French a little bit, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as well. So we've got that coming up as well. We've also got some amazing guests today. Anita Doran is here. You're going to talk to her about The Lesser Blessed, which I'm excited to hear about. And we've got David Chilton. David Chilton is the new dragon. So I don't know if you have filmmaker friends, but we're going to try to get some info from David about how do you pitch your film, your project, if you're going to any of these great TIFF parties.
That'll be interesting because from a business perspective, film is risky, right? I mean, if you talk to Kevin, you talk to a lot of the other dragons, they'll invest in a lot of other things, and you see some interesting things on the show, Dragon's Den, but you don't see a lot of films being pitched because, you know, 1,000 screenplays, maybe one actually makes it to the screen, so that'll be interesting.
Everybody, you got to tweet us at CBC Live during the stream if you have any questions for our guests, if you want to communicate with us. All right, before we get to the films, let's talk about the TIFF star style from last night. I know I've got some favorites, of course. Kristen Stewart really was the star of the evening. Deanna shot Eli an email to say what it really looked like in person.
So this is Deanna out late night working for CBC and then emails us. But look at, so there you go. I mean, lovely kind of floral pattern there, Kristen Stewart. What she actually said to me is that she's very, very thin in real life. She liked the dress that she was wearing. She does think it kind of flatters her very thin figure, and she enjoyed that, you know, this was a lot of color. So sometimes, you know, the actresses at a kind of red carpet event can be a little conservative. This is, you know, at least in this part, she is being bold. Her fans showed up. You could hear the screams probably from, you know, Young and Steeles. It was just ridiculous. The K-Stu lovers, no haters, according to Deanna.
Yeah.
However, I will say, because of the incidents, because of what's happened in her personal life, she was very nervous. And Deanna said she actually almost, you could see her shaking, and just the way she talked to the press. I mean, I think there's so much pressure on her, and I do get the sense that this movie really did mean a lot to her, and it is a departure for her in terms of her career. So she wants to put her best foot forward in terms of her career, in terms of getting back on track, doesn't want to embarrass the film, and yet she has to juggle all of those things.
Well, you know, she is a stammerer, nothing has changed, but she's also a style star. She's covered all those great magazines, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and there's a reason for that, and it's because she looks like $1 million, and she did last night as well.
She just one of those faces that it just translates on the
Absolutely.
screen. She photographs well, it works.
Speaking of which, Emily Blunt, are you a fan? We
Oh,
have
yeah.
her at number 2. She was wearing Roland Mouret. She looks amazing. Have we got a shot of her? Yeah. Form-fitting dress.
Red dress.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong?
I mean,
there
only
you
a
go.
tall beauty like that we remember from Devil Wears Prada. Stephen and Chris picked her as one of the ones to watch this TIFF. And then she was also there with her boyfriend. It was a night of couples last night, so that's John Krasinski. Love seeing them together. I love them both. Then we've got Kirsten Dunst at the On the Road premiere. She was in Dior. She's definitely a Dior girl. So in a long beaded gown. Again, you mentioned it's too bad, like Deanna said, that she always gets outshone by some of the more gossipy elements of her premieres, but she's a star. It was great to have. What a huge night of stars, right, for TIFF. And then we've got Marion Cotillard. She was also in Dior. She was the spokesperson for Dior for a while, so she
That would
looked
make
great.
sense.
Not sure about the hair.
That's
it's a
an
little Fifth
interest-
Element.
That is, I did not expect that from her.
Yeah,
Just that
I
look. I
know.
mean, that is a little bit kind of like airline stewardess,
Yeah.
1966 kind of look there.
Exactly. And our own Sarah Gadon, a Toronto girl. So she was at the American Beauty live read, which was a more casual affair, but she still looked great. She's really a big star style that's coming up. She's been covering our Canadian magazines, of course.
Have you seen her in Antiviral yet?
I
You
have.
Oh my God.
I have. I know
Like
we've got to
beauty-
save the chat.
Beauty defined. Well, wait, we'll probably get
Yes.
back to that in future episodes.
And it
but-
is, her beauty is one of
Yeah.
the central themes of the film, so that's interesting. And of course, our own Kirsten Stewart looked pretty good last night. She was wearing Max Mara. She was at the Toronto Life Party, and I just had to bring it up because as a woman working at the CBC, to see this person at the top every day just is great and inspiring. She looks great.
Pulled it off.
Yeah, exactly. So, Looper, let's talk about it. We were very Looper heavy yesterday, but it's because it was the big opening night film. I loved it, but let the fans hear it from you.
It worked for me. And what I love about Looper is that, I mean, as you'll hear them say in the interview, I mean, this is a movie made by film fans, for film fans, and so it's those combination of influences. It's interesting because if you go back to his movie Brick, what you see is this high school noir, right? So it's like a film noir, a detective story, but it's actually, you know, set in the world of high school, but it works. And this time he's taken a little bit of gangster films, a little bit of film noir,
a little
the
bit of every
sci-fi,
genre.
then the time traveling, and then
that
a
you love.
twist that I can't spoil for you. So it's you know, he's got a stamp on his sci-fi. But the other thing that's nice about it is that it's a time travel movie, but it's not dogmatic. Right,
Here's
so you're
your
seeing
interview,
this from the trailer. It's, you know, like they're playful. There's that great scene in the diner where Bruce Willis is like, if we're going to start talking about time travel, we'll be here all day making diagrams with straws. So it's funny and it's smart, and then it takes you to a place you never see coming.
Speaking of which, we've got that clip in the diner and your great interview with Rian Johnson and with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and let's check that out because you got some good tidbits from them.
All right.
Me in 30 years. It's hard staring into your eyes. It's too strange. Your face looks backwards.
What is the key, the essence of Bruce that you tried to kind of zero in on?
I was definitely following his lead and studying him, you know, watching his movies, taking the audio off of his movies and putting them on my iPod so I could listen to him over and over again, and just hanging out, you know, getting to know him and letting his nature and his qualities seep in.
We both know how this has to go down. So why don't you do what old men do and die? Why don't you just stick your little gun out between your legs and do it, boy?
You could have picked other people to mirror Bruce Willis, right? I mean, I imagine this presented some challenges, but it worked beautifully. So why go back to Joseph?
He's cheap.
That's good to know.
Yeah. No, I
And sadly true.
so that's true. I mean, a big part of it was just wanting to work with my friend. We've stayed close friends since we worked together on Brick, and that, you know, there's nothing better than working with your friend. But also, I mean, Joe is Joe's a filmmaker, and he has been since I met him, and the degree to which he understands the whole filmmaking process, and the way that he brings that knowledge into what he delivers for a performance, he can just see through the matrix. He can kind of see to the end of the process in a way.
Now, I want to know what you get from working with Rian.
He encourages everybody to bring him new ideas and bring their own unique perspective and their contributions, and that inspires everybody. So everybody's happy and on set, and everybody's excited to be there and doing their best.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
So how does it feel to be opening this prestigious festival, both of you?
My experience at the Toronto Film Festival is people here really love movies. It's not just an industry insider thing. It's not just like a party scene. It's actually a bunch of cinephiles. And this is a movie that was made by cinephiles. And I think people are gonna love it. I'm super excited that it's here.
That was an awesome interview, Eli. It's super fun to watch you nerding out. Really fun for
film
us to
geek
watch.
emerges,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. Time for some more nerding out. Anita, thanks for joining us. You're the writer and director of The Lesser Blessed. Eli has watched the film. I'm dying to hear you guys talk because I haven't got to see it yet.
So we'll try not to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
Well-
First, I want people to check out your outfit, though. Like, you are doing press today. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be here where we're live streaming from? Like going from hotel room to hotel room, meeting all the press.
It's a bit surreal. I feel like I'm stuck in a different time. I have my own little movie going on, and when I step into the sunlight, I will step into a much slower, calmer film.
Have you
Awesome.
had a chance to have the, has it been screened for a public screening yet, or you're still, so this is still kind of like the media bubble, but you're gonna get your full crowd experience soon, I guess.
Yes, in 2 days.
2 days, okay. Well,
Yep.
I want to talk about The Lesser Blessed because we've had a lot of stories, a lot of Canadian stories exploring the Native experience, but kind of what struck me is about how, on the one hand, it's a rural setting, right? Very kind of remote, somewhat isolated, but it's a very urban feeling film. It's a very kind of modern film. I mean, even if you don't know anything, you know, about the Aboriginal experience in Canada or the North, I think a lot of people can relate to that. So was that, I mean, something that you wanted to kind of capture when you were telling this story?
Well, the story is based on an amazing book that I fell in love with by Richard Van Camp. And as I was writing the script, I traveled to the north and spent time in the community. And I found that actually there is this interesting appropriation of certain cultures, like heavy metal culture and skateboarding culture, that then in the north is taken and given its own identity. And I loved it. I loved how strong these identities are and how specific they are. And I wanted to...
Yeah, because right when we first meet that group of kids hanging out near that spot where they go and they get high, I mean, those could be kids standing on a street corner in Vancouver. Those, I mean, I mean, almost makes you just wonder, like, where are they getting their influences from? Where there's so little, you know, there's bush parties and what have you, and yet it sounds very contemporary.
Well, the teenage imagination
Yeah.
and the teenage ability to dramatize your life is universal, and that's what also drew me to the project, and that's why it feels like it could be anywhere, because it's really the teenage hormonal experience of life that you...
Now, so what was your kind of key into the story? Because with your background, how did you kind of get inside the novel and to make this adaptation work, which certainly does capture something?
The heavy metal.
Oh, really?
Which
There
we
is
can see a little bit in your style.
There's a main, and it's all coming together. There's a main character,
exactly.
and he's troubled. He's kind of had an abusive past, and very much the movie is kind of exploring and peeling away those layers. And one of his refuges is he puts on, we don't really hear it, but he puts on the headphones. You just hear this screaming. It's almost like that death metal stuff. Tell me about your lead actor and
Yeah.
the process of finding him, because I think it wouldn't have worked as well as it did if you didn't have him.
Absolutely. It was... I had a determination to find the kid from the north, from the very community, from the very beginning, and it was not easy to trust the film on an, you know, amateur and actor
Yeah.
with no experience. But eventually I convinced Christina, my lovely producer, who believed in me and my craziness, and we went on a casting road trip in the north from school to school and found him in the final town, in the very town where the author is from, where the
Really?
story set in the high school where everything went down. And he didn't even come to the auditions. He blew us off because he had a math test, which was more important for him. And I spotted him in the hallway, and just that guy. That's
But-
Larry.
But when
So-
he saw the script and he saw the kind of material he's taking on, I mean, this is a dark story. I mean, there's some romance, there's moments of levity, but this is strong stuff, and it really is, you know, taking on some issues that a lot of the these communities have been struggling with. Did he have any trepidation in terms of the subject material and just, I guess, the journey that he'd be going on and what he was exposing?
Well, he was worried about the kissing.
Oh, really? That's okay.
But he was actually quite aware of the novel because Richard Van Camp is very well known
Okay.
in his community. And
Local celebrity.
Yes, and the book is known, and these issues and stories are very common and known. But it's true. I mean, every day he had to experience something relentless. He was on fire. He was facing wolves. He was kissing and dancing, and then he was delivering humongous monologues and crying his own tears, and
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Before we go, we've got David Chilton in the wings. We're going to go from filmmaker to moneymaker in just a second. I'd like to know, there's so many great novels that have been made into films that are at the festival this year. For anyone considering attacking that process of adaptation, last question for you: where do you start? Where did you start?
I think find what you love, and just narrow in on that. You know, peel away everything else, and then rebuild the story from that strand of.
And have a heavy metal on your iPod.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, heavy metal is a lifestyle. It's a whole world.
Yeah, Eli, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
You gotta
My
live.
look
You
for
gotta
next
live
year.
it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Thank you so much. Hey, good luck at your premiere.
Yes.
And have fun today tiffing around. All right, so guys, you're going to watch this with me before you go. David Chilton is the new, do you know Dragon's Den? On the CBC? Everyone knows Dragon's Den. He is the new dragon. He's also famous as the wealthy barber. So we just caught up with all the dragons on their first photo shoot at the beginning of their taping of the season to find out what they think of him. And then we've got him waiting in the wings.
You might know that from reading The Wealthy Barber, his book of frugal financial advice he wrote and published when he was only 25 years old.
I'm the first to admit I've been very lucky because even the other successes that have come to me in my life have come to me as a result of The Wealthy Barber. You know, I was very fortunate. I started writing when I was 25 and it was released when I was 26 and a half, 27 type thing, and I never could have imagined it going on to become what it did.
If a new dragon comes in, it's a whole new ball game. Changes the whole dynamic, and that certainly happened this year.
I was intimidated the first day. I mean, they're all experienced, obviously, and they know what kinds of questions to ask, and they have good chemistry with each other, but they've been very fair.
You're just going to throw me out. The one guy that knows the business, has studied the business.
I throw the Wealthy Barber under the bus. Don't need you.
We give them a hard time. No mentoring. You got to get on your own right away.
It's much more competitive than I thought it would be. It really is. I mean, I think one thing the viewers would love about the show, the more they knew, is that it's not staged at all.
Guys, why do you need Kevin to do that? Just go see the luggage
You don't know who to
manufacturers
go
without
to.
him. You can figure that out. You're two smart guys. You figured out the bag. He didn't.
There's no scripting. You don't know anything about the pictures. The arguments you see are very genuine. There have been a couple deals I haven't got that I've been actually very upset didn't come my way. So it is very competitive. Sometimes you look to cooperate because you think if you don't, you're going to lose the deal.
I'm willing to compete and drive your price down. Or we can collude. What do you want to do?
He's been great. He's like slid in seamlessly, and he's a natural. Like, he's a great talker.
David's been great. I mean, he's just sat down and become part of the crew and part of the team right away. He's got a great perspective. He brings a very different viewpoint. And, you know, I give him full marks because it's not an easy thing to do.
He's interesting, and I think he's going to make a big difference.
David, it's so nice to have you here.
Yeah,
We've been
thank
spending
you.
a lot of time together as
We have.
you
Yeah,
as
you're
you
tired of it.
shot. Yeah,
tired
exactly.
of me.
No, I'm not tired of you.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. She
excited.
said, did she not say exactly there? Very offensive.
did hear
Very
that.
offensive, yes.
Caught me. No, I'm not tired of you. I'm actually really excited. I can't wait for audiences to see you on Dragon's Den
Thank you.
because of how much I have heard about how
fun.
fierce you are.
Oh, yeah.
But it's your first time, a lot of first times, like first season of Dragon's Den, and it's your first time at TIFF. So first of all, tell us what you've got planned.
I'm going to a lot of parties. You know, I really am. I'm looking forward to it. I start out tonight with the ACC Tea Party. I'm going to a couple of the Soho and a couple of the Ritz, and I'm going to the Q Party. And it's interesting. You know, certainly a different dynamic. I'm bringing my daughter down for one. I hope people don't think I'm dating her. That would be not good for my
They
brand.
might.
Yeah, not good for my brand.
You'll have
but
to
no.
make the introductions
Are
quickly.
you just trying to soak up the movie star glamour, or are you
Oh, yeah, I'll
also
take
work
anything.
in the room for contacts?
No,
or-
I'm not a
No?
room worker.
Really?
No, yeah, no, I'm really not. No, I'll soak it up and hope people think I'm a movie star. But I think that's a huge
Wear
stretch.
sunglasses.
Huge- I always wear sunglasses.
There you
yeah,
go.
No,
well,
it's a
people
huge
will,
stretch.
may recognize you from the cover of your books.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, maybe, but I think that they don't really get drawn to a financial expert in that environment. They're looking for something a little more glamorous than RSPs and TFSAs.
I don't know. There are a lot of filmmakers looking for investors.
Yeah, they're looking
That's
for
true.
me. Yeah, okay.
This
Maybe
is
looking
just
for my money. Yeah, that I can see.
If you come visit
Not
us
for my
again
looks.
later, you might, like later in the week, you might have a different, might be
maybe.
singing a different song.
Bring a satchel. They'll be stuffing screenplays
exactly.
in here. Oh, here you go.
Business cards.
Yeah.
Business cards.
We actually want to know, do you have advice for people that are, you just received pitches from all kinds of people in different businesses. What advice do you have for filmmakers that are going to these parties to network and they're meeting someone and they gotta get their story across in like 30
I think, honestly, in that environment, you can be too pushy. I mean, obviously you want to make the contact, but that kind of in-your-face attitude alienates people, and I think you've got to be discreet and subtle, and obviously you want to get the other person's contact information. But I think any further than that in a party environment is probably not appropriate. And the thing with filmmaking is the script carries the day. I mean, if you've got a great script, doors will open for you. In fact, it's been interesting how many people have come out of nowhere in that field, and a year and 2 years later, been working with the upper echelon because the quality of their work has, again, opened the doors more than their aggressiveness. But you still have to work hard, and it's a numbers game. Like any other field, you've got to knock on a lot of doors.
The problem with the film industry is there's this idea that you have to have your elevator pitch, right? You're going to find yourself one day in an elevator with Scorsese, and you have 10 minutes to the top floor, 10 seconds to the top floor, and you got to have your log line. It's a story about a boy who learns to fly and then loses his wings, and then
That actually sounds
there you
very
go.
good, by the
I
way.
have a script here. Let me just.
But you know, it's interesting because I'm a big believer in elevator pitches in general.
Yeah.
I think you have to be able to communicate effectively and quite quickly what you're all about. That being said, the devil's in the details. It's all in the execution. And I think you've got to hook them with that. But again, it's the script itself that's going to carry the day. In fact, a lot of the most famous movies, if you went just in the 2 or 3 sentence description, they wouldn't sound so good. It's the subtleties of the performances and the way they've woven the whole story together that captures the public's imagination. So it is tough from that perspective. But if I'm on the elevator with Scorsese, I'm going with your idea. That much I can tell you.
Well, we're excited to hear more from you later in the week. Are you going to the Canadian Screen Award Academy party tonight?
Yes, I am.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll see you on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
red
good. I'm
carpet
looking
as well.
forward to it, yeah.
We saw you at another party this week. It was Jim Treliving's book launch.
I had a great
how was
time
it?
at that.
It
Yeah,
was
I
at
really
the Thompson
did.
Hotel,
And honestly, I had a really good time. In general, I haven't loved book launch parties, but that one was fantastic. They had a wide variety of people, and Jim is a gentleman. Like, he really is. He's just a high-quality guy. I love watching him interact with people and how polite he is and how kind he is. And he's really interested in what everybody else is up to. He's a great guy, and I started the book last night, and so far I've really enjoyed it. So that was a lot of fun that night. That was a good time.
I liked hearing from a few of you about how you love being around each other, the Dragons, because although you've reached such success, you are still always striving for more. So you never know. By the end of this week, you might be in the film business. At least if Eli comes up with a pitch.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that now. 5 dragons, a dark alley.
I like that again. Again, you're weaving, you're working. I like it. I like
Eli,
it.
you might want to switch gears a little bit.
I don't know if I'd want to invest in any movie starring Kevin, truthfully. I think I may shy away from
he could
that.
be
Not
the
that I
rogue
won't
element.
wish him good luck, but
he's probably pitching his own miniseries
he's the
right now.
antagonist,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
exactly.
Do you remember we asked you guys who would play Jim if we made the movie of his
I do.
book
Well, I don't remember what I said,
Decisions? Well, we're going to watch the clip in just a second, so you'll see what he said. But when we said it for fun to Kevin, he said that Danny DeVito would play him.
Ah.
I
That's
said
actually
James
pretty good.
Caan, maybe.
Yeah.
No? I
James
don't know.
Caan? No, that's not bad. That'd be somebody tall,
Michael
though.
Caine. Michael Caine.
Oh, you mean with
an American
Kevin,
accent?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well,
I think
tweet
Kevin
him.
would play himself.
I
really do. Let's just
You're
leave it at that.
Kevin is not letting anyone get on this deal other than
Exactly.
himself. Have a great time
Thank
partying.
you.
We will see you on that red carpet tonight. And let's check you out at Jim's book launch and see who would play Jim if we made the movie of the book Decisions.
David Chilton's not your typical dragon. You might know that from reading The Wealthy Barber, his book of frugal financial advice he wrote and published when he was only 25 years old.
I'm the first to admit I've been very lucky because even the other successes that have come to me in my life have come to me as a result of The Wealthy Barber. You know, I was very fortunate. I started writing when I was 25 and it was released when I was 26 and a half, 27 type thing, and I never could have imagined it going on to become what it did.
If a new dragon comes in, it's a whole new ball game. Changes the whole dynamic, and that certainly happened this year.
I was intimidated the first day. I mean, they're all experienced, obviously, and they know what kinds of questions to ask, and they have good chemistry with each other, but they've been very fair.
You're just going to throw me out. The one guy that knows the business, has studied the business.
I throw The Wealthy Barber under the bus. Don't need you.
We give them a hard time. No mentoring. You got to get on your own right away.
It's much more competitive than I thought it would be. It really is. I mean, I think one thing the viewers would love about the show, the more they knew, is that it's not staged at all.
Guys, why do you need Kevin to do that? Just go see the luggage manufacturers without him. You can figure that out. You're two smart guys. You figured out the bag. He didn't.
There's no scripting. You don't know anything about the pictures. The arguments you see are very genuine. There have been a couple deals I haven't got that I've been actually very upset didn't come my way. So it is very competitive. Sometimes you look to cooperate because they think if you don't, you're going to lose the deal.
I'm willing to compete and drive your price down. Or we can collude. What do you want to do?
He's been great. He's like slid in seamlessly, and he's a natural. Like, he's a great talker.
David's been great. I mean, he's just sat down and become part of the crew and part of the team right away. He's got a great perspective. He brings a very different viewpoint. And, you know, I give him full marks because it's not an easy thing to do.
He's interesting, and I think he's going to make a big difference.
Let's move on to On the Road again.
Yes.
Is this strange that there was another major movie with so many stars opening on opening night when Looper was supposed to be the big one?
Well, you know, it is. I mean, okay, I understand the calculation that the TIFF staff make in terms of we're not going to play up the Canadian angle. We want the star power. So Bruce Willis on the carpet, sure, but you have to wonder if you had Kristen Stewart and Dunst there, then why don't you make that the opening? But then you have to explore the whole idea of the TIFF opening film curse, and I think that position.
I don't know what this is.
Well, there's some people that say that position of prestige. Like, for example, there's a movie, I think it was called Creation. You might not remember it because it opened and then it kind of faded away. It was about Darwin and all sorts of stuff. So there's been some great opening films. There's also been some films that, you know, didn't do as well as perhaps we'd hope. A Score, the hockey musical, I believe, was one of them. And so it's a bit of a blessing and a curse. And so to have a movie like On the Road become the opening film, I think, you know, maybe the creators of On the Road might be a little nervous about that. And also the thing is, you can make the case that Looper is a sci-fi film, a genre film, a movie for film fans. I agree with all of that. On the Road is a very American movie. And so then it's really hard to quiet the whole, okay, it is Canada's largest film festival, and now you're having this road movie where they're, you know, going from New Orleans to New York and back, and that's the movie you're going with, so.
As insiders, a little bit, given what we know about stars and their schedules, it might have been a scheduling thing. Like, if Kristen Stewart can only make it on that night, that's what might have happened.
And she was late on her carpet, right? So, I mean, that could have been a nightmare. Whereas the people who did Looper were so cooperative. They did 2 red carpets last night. So they started at the Elgin, and then they went to Roy Thompson. So they got there. I think it was a good decision.
Cameron Bailey was tweeting that for the fans, they were going to do both. Now, we have that red carpet. Deanna was on the red carpet with the stars of On the Road, so let's check that out.
I've loved this book since I was 14, so to be a part of it is like mind-blowing. I think to be able to play her, I would have done anything.
What do you think it is about these classics that have such an enduring power and appeals to a modern audience, your audience that was born many years after the Beatnik generation?
I mean, people's emotions are all the same no matter what era, you know, you're in.
I think one of the strongest things, and it's like, it's not my thought, this is the most unoriginal thing I could possibly say, is to be really vulnerable.
You research and see what they were trying to do with their lives, what they were trying to express, what they were trying to achieve, and you realize that that is completely the same with us. And youth today is that you feel everything in life is possible, the world's at your fingertips, and ultimately, slowly, life and reality sort of start slapping you in the face, and that's kind of what this film, within the 5 years that it goes through, sort of shows.
Having limits that are a little bit different than others and being okay with that it's a really courageous thing, and it's really, like, it sounds very kind of trite and obvious, but it's hard to actually do, and they really did it.
There's still those out there that yearn to live and yearn to breathe, and they make life happen for them, and that's what these guys did, and that's why we're here tonight, to celebrate them.
I saw the movie, and let me tell you, what a sexy movie. You got to check that one out, especially if you're, really, really hot movie. And you know if you've read the book. Okay, let's see what's trending at TIFF, stuff I want you guys to check out. George Stroumboulopoulos was part of Jason Reitman's live read of American Beauty, and he posted a photo of himself and Sarah Gadon. Let me tell you, Eli, Facebook fans went crazy saying, are you dating? Is she your girlfriend? I'm a big fan of both of them. I think it would be a great love match. Of course, that reading...
Really?
What?
A sideline now as a matchmaker. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to pitch a film to David Chilton. I'm going to be a matchmaker. Strombo also had a pop-up party of Very Strombo at the Peacock last night. Cheap drinks, dark underground space, and people were tweeting about that. There's a picture of him and Yannick Bisson. Cardinal Official was tired at the end of the night. Deanna Sumanac, she went to The Place to Be, which is the Soho House, and the Looper cast was there, so you can check her out on Twitter at Deanna Sumanac to find out what she's up to. Eli, remind people what your Twitter handle is.
Glassner on Film.
Glassner on Film, and you're sharing everything as you go?
Yeah, as I go, the exhaustion, the glee, and the movie's good and bad. I generally tend to tweet about a film before I go in and then afterwards, so
unless
come
you're
back
under
in
embargo,
2 hours.
that's why we'll release things as we go. You just saw one today.
I saw Sarah Pauli's Stories We Tell, the documentary, very personal about her life story. It is the Rashomon of home movies, all these conflicting tales, a greater truth emerges. I think a lot of people talk about it. It's amazing. Just waiting for the audience to kind of grab hold of this and see what people start to say. So I don't want to spoil too much, but this is something you want to see.
Another big premiere tonight. Well, there's major ones tonight. Anna Karenina premieres tonight. Like, it's insane. A Place Beyond the Pines premieres tonight.
Gosling.
Eva Mendes and Gosling. Can you see how excited I am? So he's a Canadian boy. We're very proud of him. And before we leave you guys, we're going to let you watch a Canadian profile of Ryan Gosling. Check it out.
I'm standing here on the international border between Canada and the U.S. Just over this bridge is my hometown of Cornwall, Ontario.
Some vintage Mickey Mouse Club Ryan Gosling at the tender age of 13, but he started his career even earlier.
This is the first stage I ever performed on. I was 5.
You were probably first introduced to him on the Canadian teen dramedy Breaker High.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Or as young Hercules. In recent years, he's been very busy shooting 10 movies since 2010. Not to mention breaking up fights and saving lives in New York City. We first fell in love with Ryan in 2004's The Notebook.
It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
And he was right. It was definitely not over. In 2006, his role in Half Nelson got him his first Oscar nomination at the age of 25. Next up for Ryan, the bromance continues as he teams up once again with Drive director Nicholas Winding Refn for Logan's Run. And he's just announced his own directorial debut with How to Catch a Monster. Is there anything this guy can't do? We might ask his girlfriend, Eva Mendes. The couple met while filming The Place Beyond the Pines, and it's here at TIFF.